OtherSide Entertainment is an independent development studio created to further the work of studios like Looking Glass and Junction Point and Ion Storm, where we pursue the art of the immersive simulation.
These original games were very innovative for their time, introduced and pioneered some new game design, new technologies, and that's really the spirit that we're carrying forward with OtherSide, to continue to innovate and push forward these genres.
We've spent the last few years really assembling this indie dream team of developers. Many of them former Looking Glass, former Irrational, like myself. It's a small, scrappy indie team, and we're tackling a genre that's hundreds of people generally work on. We're able to do that because of the talent and the experience of the team.
Underworld's a fantasy game set in a classic high fantasy setting, the Stygian Abyss, which is a vast volcano. And so you explore in a dungeon crawl-like way the underworld, but in a first-person, very immediate feel. The term that we use most often to describe the kind of game is an immersive simulation.
An immersive simulation is a game that removes as many barriers to belief that you're in an alternate world as possible. The idea is to create systems and rules that players can exploit however they want, to interrupt the experience as little as possible and in as unobtrusive ways as possible.
We really want it to create a gameplay where if you yourself were this fantasy character and in the Stygian Abyss, the things you might creatively come up with to try to solve challenges would work. The game is not about, trying to optimize and do the best possible playthrough. You get rewarded for trying different solutions and often coming back to, say, a quest or the same location and saying, well, last time I just fought my way through. There's, 10 other ways, 50 other ways I could have approached it. Let me try some different things out.
Open world games tend to simulate a world that's an inch deep and miles wide. If you scratch just below the surface of the simulation, you don't find much, frankly. In games like Underworld Ascendant, we're doing something different. We're simulating a world that's an inch wide and miles deep, where within the confines of a smaller world, you interact with a much deeper simulation.
Every time you come into an environment, things will be markedly different. Different challenges, different opportunities. Sometimes when you come in, you'll see a deep slug, a useful deep slug, which has a flammable trail. Another time you'll come in and you'll have a green lizardman ally. The environment's also changing as far as movement options. Sometimes you'll come in and the outcast tribe has set up platforms in certain areas, and other times they'll be torn down.
So we're focused more around jump in, have a fairly, or intensive, session where you can do a quest, and then if you want to do another quest and another quest, you can continue to do that. There's a lot more sort of replay and coming back and revisiting things.
Fans will also find that they're immersed in a world that is somewhat familiar. Now, non-fans are not going to have knowledge of those earlier games, but for people who do know those earlier games, there's going to be a little thrill of recognition here and there that I think they'll really enjoy.
Not only one of our main characters, Kobyrus, who is voiced by Stephen Russell, who is Garrett in Thief, is a major character from the series backstory. There are also some ties that are a little deeper and a little harder to find.
The spirit of the original Underworld was really to innovate and try something new that other people hadn't been doing. That's really the legacy of those games, more than the specifics of what the actual game did or the actual specific features or content. And so, to me, that's the legacy that we're respecting, honoring the most, is continuing to innovate, see where we can move this genre forward. And it's a lot of fun.